Hello, good evening. Hi,
Hello.
Hi, Dave. How are
How
you
you
doing?
doing?
Good. How are you?
Doing well. How are you?
Good. I'm excellent. What about you?
Good. Just keeping busy.
Yeah, well, that's life, right?
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Hi, Rashmi.
Hi,
Welcome.
thank you.
I'm so glad you got to make it.
Yeah,
Where are you from? Like, where are you at this moment? Where do you live?
Karnataka, India, Mysore.
Oh, nice.
Oh, wow. How nice. Oh my gosh. I so love it that you are in India actually.
Yes,
I'm so loving this. Isn't that amazing that we can have someone from India and we are here in the States and it seems like we are all in the same room.
yes.
What time is it, if you don't mind me asking?
It's 5:30 a.m.
Oh, wow.
Oh, wow. Wow. That's so amazing. Well, welcome, Rashmi. So I'm curious, how did you hear about me or this webinar?
I saw a new ad in the YouTube.
Beautiful. Thank you
Yes,
for sharing that. Wow. Yeah, you never know who you are really connecting with because
yes,
you don't get to see people, but when you are ready, you open your heart, it's that you connect immediately. It doesn't really matter the
yes,
language or the country or the time. There is a code, right? Usually it is a code. Yes,
correct, correct.
I'm so loving this. Thank you so much for sharing. And here is Mark. Hi, Mark. How are you doing?
Very good. Excited about your presentation.
Beautiful. I so love that you're here. Where are you? Where are you, Mark? Where are you? Where do you live?
I live in Roswell, Georgia.
In Georgia. Beautiful. Yeah, we are close. I live in Florida, in Kissimmee.
Excellent.
Yes. Yes. If you don't mind, how did you hear about us?
Well, I've loved Soul Constellation. Met Creto Mutwa many years ago before he passed away. So I had an introduction to him and Soul Constellation Sacred Ancestral Healing that takes place 9 generations in the past, 9 in the future.
Well, then,
So I was fortunate. You sent me an email and I immediately enrolled.
beautiful. Well, I'm so glad you are here. I'm sure there is something of the information that I'm going to share that is going to serve you all.
Thank
And I'm
you.
trusting that it is like that.
Bless
Hi,
you.
Janet.
Hello.
How are you?
Good, good. Hello, everyone.
Hi,
Hey, Janet.
Hey, how are you?
Good. Yourself?
Good, good. Thank you.
Yeah.
Janet is one of my graduates. Before we begin, she graduated from the institute. I have an institute where I train therapists to become facilitators on family constellations. So Janet is a graduate and Dave is a student. He's about to graduate soon in February.
Yep.
Yes, yes,
Very excited. Very excited.
yes, it is exciting. I'm so loving it. All right, so I guess we can begin and see if other people will join us later, but let's all begin and honor the time because Rashmi at 5:30 in the morning, she amazes me because I mean that's wanting to really know something for you to wake up at that time and be present. So we are honoring the time because I feel like it is time to begin. So before I begin also, if you have any questions, just put them in the chat because I am going to be sharing a lot of content. So throughout that content, you might have some questions. If I don't get to answer your questions throughout the whole content, then maybe what we can do is at the end, we're gonna do a Q&A. Yes? Sounds good? All right, or also you can write your questions on the chat And so I'll be answering those questions at the end. So I was telling you that in my country, in Colombia, where I was born, we have tonight, actually, we celebrate something called the Day of the Light. But actually it happens at night. I don't even know why to say the Day of the Light when it's actually the Night of the Lights. And what we do is that we light up candles and we set them outside of our house. And why do we do this? And this is a tradition that I really, when I was a child, never asked about or what it was about. But as I was growing up, I got to understand that what we celebrate that day is that Jesus came to the world with these seeds of light. And so what we do is that we light up these candles as a celebration for one master that came to earth to leave these seeds for us, the humans and the humanity at this time, to take that information and continue our process of evolution. And so I thought that tonight could be symbolic to do the same. So I brought a candle to begin. As you can see, I have my candle here, and I am going to light it up since tonight is the Night of the Light. What about that? And my intention also is to share this information with you. There we go. We have our light. So beautiful. Welcome, welcome. Yay. So I'm going to set this light here next to me. And so I keep the tradition at the same time. My intention is to plant these seeds, these seeds of information that might be able to help you as well. Yes. I don't know how much of what I'm going to share you will be able to absorb or to understand. I will do my best for you to understand it and actually to create something within you that can somehow recreate your concepts of life and the order of life. So let's all begin. Let's, first of all, for the ones that don't know me, my name is Maya del Sol. Some people call me Maya. And what I do in life is I devoted myself to teach and facilitate family constellations. Family constellations is a method to transcend our ancestors' memories, unresolved memories, because we carry a lot of those unresolved memories that we don't recognize. We are not aware of them, but they are affecting our present and what we want to manifest in many aspects, such as health and relationships, abundance, success, prosperity, right? So we all want, as I know everybody wants to live in this harmonious experience of love. When we don't find this love, means that love somehow got stuck somewhere. And we cannot find that an entanglement. We are all trying to find the entanglement, but it's hard for us to see it because sometimes it's not in, we cannot recognize the information. The information is so deep into our unconsciousness because it's also carried by our ancestors that they didn't even recognize it. They don't even recognize it. So it's hard for us to sometimes recognize it ourselves. And we live the experience just as they did. We repeat these patterns just as they did. And our whole idea or my intention with sharing this information is that we can identify and acknowledge this information that we are carrying in our DNA. Yes? So if we get to recognize this and recreate inner order, because everything begins with each of us, right? It's all internal. And we are trying to recreate disorder, but we must know where the disorder is. Yes? So let's begin by asking you a question. How much have you healed from or of your ancestors? And how much do you recognize that you are carrying repetitive patterns from those ancestors? Yes, because the question here is like, how much am I having this information and really done something with it? We might know that it is important for us to take action and to do something about it, but how, right? We don't know how. The how is very important here. We know I'm carrying something, I'm seeing some repetitive patterns, but how do I change that? And maybe it is your case as it was mine. Maybe you have tried different modalities of healing, because that was my case. Yes, I had these feelings that I really couldn't recognize the root of them. I couldn't really understand why I was feeling this, and I was trying different modalities. Yes, I went to pranic healing and shamanic healing, and actually I got involved in all of these. I became a life coach, and I was trying to heal my mind, heal my spirit, heal my body, right? But I really couldn't get to the root of these feelings that I couldn't even understand what they were and where they came from, until I found this information of family constellations. So my invitation for you before we begin is to open your mind and open your heart to listen to this information that I'm going to share tonight. We all are carrying information from our ancestors that we must be aware of in order to transcend it and recreate our destiny. And not only our destiny, but the destiny of the ones that will be coming, and also the destiny of life, because the power of us healing is so big that we are recreating the destiny of all throughout our change, throughout our transformation, throughout our transcendence. Yes? So let's talk a little bit about this. Have you, and I'm going to ask you this question, have you ever tapped into these feelings of why do you feel abandoned, for example, rejected, betrayed, or those repressions, trauma, memories of suffering and pain, shadows, fears, maybe unresolved memories of anger or resentment or sadness? Sometimes we feel like we have it all. At the same time, we don't understand why we are still feeling down sometimes. It's like, I don't know where this comes from, right? And at this point, we can understand that this information could be an inheritance. And we need to understand where does this inheritance comes from. And we are going to talk a little bit here about epigenetics. Have you guys heard about epigenetics before? No? Okay, so epigenetics, and let's talk a little bit about epigenetics, is information that we carry in our DNA. So let's say that when we inherited, let's say, some traits from our parents, we inherited the color of the hair, maybe, the color of the skin, the color of the eyes. Some information came in those genes, right? So the epigenetics means above the DNA, meaning that that information is also there in our DNA. And that information passes to us, but it's kind of dormant. Yes? That information carries all the memories of adaptation from our ancestors, meaning that all the ways of surviving, for example, are there. All the ways that our ancestors got to respond emotionally or protecting themselves, or to the atmosphere, or to what was happening at that moment, also are memories that are within us. They are just dormant. The fact that they are dormant doesn't mean that they cannot be active at any moment. Let's say that today you have an experience where you lost your job and you are afraid of not having money to buy food for yourself or for your family. Maybe a memory of hunger, right, can be awakened from before. Yes, maybe in your family system, some great-great-great-grandparent, let's say, went through a moment of depression in history. And maybe that ancestor couldn't resolve and had this fear of not being able to feed their family or himself. Maybe someone died from it. Maybe it was such a harsh time that couldn't be resolved, that created emotions of fear, and also at the same time, maybe this sort of not being able, this, how can I say that I cannot do it? Yes, it's stronger than me. And those memories that weren't resolved by that ancestor in that time are still without being resolved today. So maybe today, when we go through a period of time or a moment of surviving where I lose my job, I don't know if I'm going to have money to feed myself or to feed my family, that memory can activate again because it is a memory that is in my DNA. Yes, makes sense? And so I will be feeling the same fear. Probably I will responding just as my ancestors did. Emotionally or surviving, what will be the way you reply to it? What will be the way you respond to life when you are experiencing this fear? Yes, so the epigenetics carry all of that information. So let's talk a little bit more deeper, let's say, about how we inherit this information besides the epigenetics, right? And knowing that we are carrying all of these memories and how they activate in us. There is also disorders that happened before for these ancestors for somehow accommodate themselves to adapt to the situations. So those situations also created maybe conflict or disorder. Let's say that this ancestor who ran out of money, I need to make money or bring some food to my family, maybe decided to, let's say, steal money from other family. Let's say that this created this conflict or this experience got to be bigger because some other people got to be involved in it. Yes, so other memories of survival is like I prioritize myself over others. Somehow, if we see it from another point of view, I can become the perpetrator of others when I need something for myself. And that can recreate some sort of disorder in the system where some descendants later on need to pay for what you took without permission. Yes, even though it was because you wanted to survive or you wanted to protect your family. So you took something that wasn't yours and that decompensated life. And life always wants to be compensated. Yes, so let's talk about these disorders that could have been created in the system that we are living today, and they are creating conflicts in our life. Yes, makes sense? Let's talk a little bit about those. I'm going to give you these 7 steps for you to check if these disorders are maybe happening in your life. Why am I saying this? Because when I didn't know about this, I was living myself experiences of abandonment and betrayal. And those repetitive patterns used to happen in my life throughout my whole entire life, since I was 13 until I was in my 40s, and I'm already 51. These patterns happen in my relationships of abandonment and betrayal. And I really couldn't understand why that was happening to me. I thought that it was just a matter of bad luck, or that that was my destiny, or that men were like that. I was just kind of justifying it outside when I didn't know, or I couldn't be aware that that was the memories that I was carrying from my family system. Yes. So if I tell you my story short, the way, or my turning point when I started to think or to search for help was this. When I was about, I was already 33 years old, I got pregnant of my son, Angel. And of course, to continue these repetitive patterns that I didn't know about or where it came from, well, guess what? The father of my son wasn't present. Yes, so I'm repeating again the story of abandonment. Could I see that right then? No. Right then, I wasn't even aware of why I was living this experience. It was painful, yes. I was in my, let's say, dark night of the soul at that moment. I couldn't understand why that happened to me. And I never thought that I would deserve that, but I really couldn't understand why that happened. I was finding the guilty one outside of me, of course. I was blaming the other for not being present at that moment. But I didn't know about these memories of abandonment that my family had gone through. Yes. So in this moment, when this happens to me, I'm blind because my emotions are stronger than what I can actually see. And also I didn't have the information or the tools to heal. So I am going down in those emotions that take me down to depression. I'm depressed. I'm sad. I have anger. I have resentment. I'm blaming everybody but me, because I'm seeing everything that is outside of me, not inside of me. And I got to be in the state of depression and anger for about 2 years of my life, until I actually got sick. Because see, the body somatizes your emotions. And since I couldn't find the solution or why things happen to me, it took me to my body. My body was already being affected by those emotions, and I still couldn't transcend it because I didn't know this information that I'm going to share with you today. So 2 years passed by, and I'm still the same, until one day I really felt like this was a state, like I was in a big hole, and I really decided to leave the hole. And by then, I, of course, realized that I needed help because I couldn't do it myself. And that's when I decided to start walking this journey of healing. And of course, I started to open doors to heal my body first, because I needed help with my body first. I needed to work with my nutrition, and I needed to go through holistic nutrition and exercise. And I just did all of these things for my body to recover. I also understood that some energy, because my energy got depleted. So I started to also learning Tai Chi and Qigong and energy healing and shamanism and all of this alignment of the chakras. And I was just learning. And at the same time that I was getting these practices, I was actually teaching, because I would teach every modality that I was learning and doing and practicing myself. Then I went to my mind. I said, no, maybe it's not my body, it's not my spirit, it's my mind. So I became a life coach, thinking, okay, what I need to do is to change my thoughts. Maybe I'm being too negative, or I need to stop judging others. And yes, I became a life coach. But guess what? Life coaching sometimes is an understanding that stays in the mind. Yes, what I was feeling was actually deeper. I couldn't access my feelings, those deep feelings of sadness and resentment and pain. They were so deep and ingrained, so deep within me, I wasn't able to see or how to heal them until I found family constellations. So family constellations make the difference because it was an experience where I just didn't understand, but I got to transcend it throughout changing these feelings that were speaking from the depth of my being, which were very connected to my soul. I needed to heal my soul. And that was the work that I never thought I had to do before. And that was the beginning of my journey. Yes. So my commitment to you today is to share this information and see if it somehow also resonates with you, and see if you can find the disorders of your system that can be affecting you. As in my case, I got to understand that this big feeling of sadness was connected to my father. When I was 8 months old, my father left. I was just a baby. Yes, so this is a memory of abandonment. And I was being loyal unconsciously to that memory. That's why I was attracting men into my life who would abandon me, or I would abandon them, because the pattern goes in both ways. Yes. And guess what? Since I didn't know or I didn't recognize this memory in time, of course, my son Angelo went already through the same memory. Yes, when I was pregnant, his father wasn't present from the beginning. So he already went through the same wound as I did from the beginning. Yes. So I want to share this information with you, hoping that it can serve you as it did serve me. Yes. Okay. So let's talk a little bit about the disorders of the system. And I am going to talk about these 7 steps, the 7 steps that I took in order to create this change in my life. Yes, and I want to share them with you. And before I begin, I want to honor the founder of Family Constellations, Bert Hellinger. Bert Hellinger was the one who created and integrated this therapy that we know today as Family Constellations. And the information that I'm going to be sharing tonight is very connected to all the information that he put together. Yes, so I'm honoring Bert Hellinger and his knowledge tonight before we begin. And I'm gonna take you then to this journey with me, the 7 steps that that can help you transcend your past and your ancestors' past. Yes, so let's begin. Let's talk a little bit about the first step that I want to mention here, which is called the inclusion. First step is called the inclusion. Yes, the law of belonging. Yes, and that's one of the principles, Bert Hellinger's principles, and it's called the order of belonging. We all belong to the system, to a family system, and to the system of life. So what happens when someone hasn't been included in the system? Because that's a good question, right? What happens when someone hasn't been included in the system? Who could be someone who is excluded from the system? So let's talk about those 2 things. Let's talk a little bit about, for example, abortions. When someone had an abortion and don't consider this abortion as one member of that system, then that abortion somehow is going to start affecting the whole entire system. Yes, why is that? Because when let's say that I'm going to say this, maybe this abortion was because it happened naturally, or because this mother decided to take this abortion. Yes, so this energy of this soul came to be part of this moment in that mother's life, right? And sometimes when you ask a mother how many children you have, and she only mentions maybe the children that are alive right now. Oh, I have 2 children. But that mother forgot about that abortion or that miscarriage. It could be the case of a miscarriage or a case of a loss. Maybe a baby was born and died, and you're still not counting on with this baby, right? So what happens here? Well, this baby somehow energetically is missing, is not being seen or honored or recognized. Yes, and all of this happens energetically. It all happens energetically. And we don't see it maybe because we are not used to see this information, but just be patient and follow the information, because we are seeing this information from the systemic point of view. At this point, when we don't honor that miscarriage or that abortion, then someone, maybe a descendant down the road, will identify with this space, because there is a space that is empty and someone needs to fill the space for the whole system to feel complete. Yes? So maybe the second child of this woman don't know about this miscarriage, and somehow energetically how it can be affecting this newborn. Maybe this newborn somehow feels disconnected from life. Maybe this newborn feels absent, or feels like I don't belong, or feels like I'm not seen, I'm the non-seen person, I'm invisible, or feels like dying, or feels like not being somehow disconnecting from life to a point that maybe commits suicide. Many, many ways this abortion can be affecting this descendant. Make sense? Yes, because that descendant is trying to fill that space that is empty. Let's talk about other type of exclusions. Yes, let's think about, or let's talk about a father who abandoned the system. Let's say that this couple meet, and then let's say that this woman is pregnant and has a baby or a family, and all of a sudden the father leaves the family and don't return. Or let's say that the father died. Or let's say that someone of the two parents died and weren't present for those children. Yes? So somehow those memories of abandonment, it's like there is also an empty space that needs to be filled, right? Let's say that the father abandoned the family, just to give an example. So maybe the oldest son feels like taking that space and taking that role of the father who is absent to help the system flow easier. That doesn't mean that it's in order, right? It just means that the system is trying to flow, to feel complete in order to flow. But if that presence is not being filled, someone else, a descendant, needs to fill that space. And that creates conflict. And I'm going to tell you how it can be creating conflict. Let's say that the oldest son decides to take the role of the absent father. Yes? Energetically, this son eventually will have issues finding a partner, for example, because energetically becomes, let's say, the husband of the mother energetically, and maybe becomes also the father of the siblings, of his or her siblings, because it can happen to a man or a woman. It doesn't really matter the gender. It's just the switching roles that is affecting the system. Yes? So that could be another way of excluding the one who abandoned the family. Yes, that's another type of exclusion. What else? Maybe one member of the family committed a crime. And maybe the family feels dishonor by this member of the family who committed that crime, and no one talks about that person. Yes, like it is forbidden to talk about this person who committed that, did this or did that. Somehow the family system is rejecting this member. And so they are excluding that person. And when there are these exclusions, all the exclusions want to come back to the system to be seen and recognized. That means that a descendant might end up doing the same as this member of the family who committed, let's say, a crime. Why? Because the system is not accepting this ancestor who committed the crime. So it ends up affecting the whole system and the descendants. Someone is coming to identify again with the one who committed the crime because it's being excluded from the system. Makes sense how the disorders are created? And all of this happens energetically. So the the members of the family don't see it, but it's affecting the whole system. The system or the members of the system might not be able to see, but the system is feeling that there is an emptiness or a gap that needs to be filled. The system is feeling that something is not right. For example, let's say that this is a family system of a mom, a dad, and some children. And let's say that this father is hiding having another family. Or maybe the wife knows about that other family and other children. So if this woman doesn't recognize and somehow include these other children, then the same pattern might be repeating down the road. Just because of the exclusion involves or invites again to repeat the same pattern until someone accepts, includes, and the ones that are being excluded. Yes? All right, now there's something else here that I want to talk about, and it is this. All of these memories or all of these experiences that happen in our system, they all carry emotions. They all carry emotions, meaning that what happened between, let's say, grandma and grandpa, those emotions that weren't transcend are pulsing because they weren't transcended. So it's not only the memory, right? It's not only the memory of what happened, but it's also the feelings, the emotions that are trapped energetically in those members that could be also be inherited to you as a descendant. So maybe let's say that grandpa abandoned grandma. And maybe you are the second generation after. And maybe you have a partner and maybe this partner abandons you. You might feel the same emotions that maybe grandma felt when grandpa left. And so those activate in you, right? And somehow when they activate in you are not only yours, but also grandma's feelings that you are carrying. You are doing it just as she did. You are feeling just as she felt. Yes? And so somehow we need to heal those unresolved memories and feelings and perspectives of what happened in the past. These three, the emotions, right? The feelings, the thoughts, and the perspectives of what happened in the past. So a memory involves all of that. And when you work on healing a feeling and an emotion, and you get to change this perspective and reconcile the past, then you get to untangle that memory. And then the future generations, you will facilitate the new generations not to experience that the same as the ancestors did. See the importance of including and healing those emotions of what happened in the past? Yes? Yes? All right, awesome. So let's go to the second step. The second step is called the systemic order. The systemic order that talks about hierarchy is that we all have a place in the system, in the family system, and also in the system of life. What this means is that maybe sometimes the members, when there is one position that is not filled, let's say, or one role that is not filled because of what happened in the system, then the roles exchange. And when the roles exchange, then we are not honoring the order of precedence and the order of each of the members of the family system. How can this happen? I'm just going to give you an example. Let's say that mom and dad work a lot. And let's say that they decided to ask the oldest son or daughter to be in charge of the siblings because they need to go to work. Yes. So let's say that this oldest sibling becomes the mother or the father of these children because he is in charge or she is in charge. But in family system, this shouldn't happen because the parents are the ones who are supposed to be in charge or take responsibility for these children. And they are giving this big responsibility to the oldest son or daughter. So the conflict begins because maybe one of the siblings becomes dependent on this oldest sibling who emotionally is present for me because mom and dad are not present for me. So this second child, let's say, or third child, learn that mom and dad are not important. They are not present. For me, the one that is important is the first child, the oldest sibling who is taking care of me, is taking care of my needs. Yes? As it can be the case that another of the siblings gets rebellious with that first sibling, let's say. And then the conflict begins because this other sibling is saying, but you're not my mother, but you're not my father. So there is a conflict that was created because the parents didn't take the responsibility of taking care of these children and put the responsibility in one of them. And that, of course, is going to affect the relationship between the siblings. See how the disorder happens here? Have you seen in your family someone that was this sibling who was the one who was responsible for the other? Have you seen that in your system? Just take a look at your system, because all the information that I'm giving you is for you to start reviewing yourself and seeing if in your system there are these disorders. Yes? So maybe you were the one who was more dependent of your older sister, or maybe the one who was more rebellious with the older brother or sibling. Yes? So just check on that, because in this second order, I'm talking about creating this order, meaning honoring the order of precedence, and then that the oldest sibling can say, I'm not your mom, I'm not your dad. This is mom, this is dad. I'm the oldest. And you are my siblings. I am the first one, you are the second one. And then it's just repositioning everybody in place. Yes? Makes sense? Beautiful. So let's continue with the third step. The third step has to do with the order of equilibrium. Yes, the order between giving and receiving. Between giving and receiving. And sometimes we are not aware of how much we take or how much we give. And all of these disorders between giving and receiving are connected to those emotional voids that we experience during our childhood. So let's say that if I feel disconnected from my mother, then I'm expecting others to give me that love. And so I look for that love in my husband, or I look for that love from like I'm expecting my children to give me that love, or I'm expecting someone to fill my emotional voids. And so unconsciously, I don't see it, I don't recognize it, but I'm a taker. I need someone to fill me my canister of love. Yes? And so this is the disorder between giving and receiving, because in this sort of relationship, let's say that this is a couple, right? And if this wife is expecting this man to be the father that wasn't present for her, then this relationship isn't a relationship of a couple. This is a relationship of a child and a parent, not of a wife and a husband. Makes sense? And this, of course, creates conflict between these two, because this relationship is going to lose the passion. Like, for example, if it is a couple's relationship, there's not going to be passion here, because one is behaving as a child and the other one as a parent. So this one is taking from this supposedly father what this father didn't give me, which was maybe the presence. Yes? So I need attention, or I need someone to see me. And I'm looking for that not only in my husband, maybe also with my friends or outside in my work, where I work. Yes, so all of this is creating a conflict that sometimes we are not aware of where the root is. And this could be the root. Yes, the only exception that we do in this law of equilibrium happens between parents and children, because parents give to children, but children don't give back to parents. Children give back by honoring the parents, by respecting them, by including them, and by giving to life their own projects, or to give to their own children eventually. Yes, but sometimes when the parents are not resolved emotionally, they expect their children to give them back. And that creates conflict and disorders. Yes? All right, so let's go to the next one. The fourth step is called invisible loyalties. And invisible loyalties has to do with secrets that the system has, that no one knows about them, but the descendants are repeating them unconsciously. Yes, stories that invite to, let's say, for example, abuse. See, sometimes, and this is a well common case of, for example, sexual abuse that happens within the same family system and is kept secret. So it continues happening. And we must somehow bring these secrets to the light for them not to continue bringing more unconsciousness and experiences for the new descendants, especially if these experiences affect the system in a conflicting way. Yes? Okay, so let's go to the next step, which is the fifth step. And this step is called repetitive patterns. Yes? So repetitive patterns has to do with when we were children, we were born, let's say, in blank, right? Let's say that we are born and we are like a blank disk, and we are starting to get new information, just as a computer, new software, right? And a new programming of how life is and how I should do things in life. And that we learn from our parents. And so we learn from our parents all the conditioning that they learn from their parents. So we are carrying the conditioning and the learning ways they did it culturally, socially, within the family system, or the customs. All of that is a programming that we learned as children. And we barely take care of self-observing ourselves or asking, is this really serving me, or maybe it's limiting me? And today we are to start questioning those things that we learn as children, because we learn by observation and by hearing, and all of this information is what we think life is. But a lot of that information also can be limiting us in many aspects. Let's say the way your parents used to see money, maybe it's the same way you're seeing money today. The same ways your parents thought about spiritual beliefs, let's say God, who was God, maybe for you that's what God is today. The way that they behaved or what the society expected, that was also a conditioning for you to be accepted in society. So you are doing it the same. At the same time, those beliefs and those perspectives are still, or could be, limiting your process of evolution as well. Yes? So in this step, we must recapitulate what we learned as children in school, at church, with our parents, with society, with our culture, within our family system. What did they think about this and that, and how am I acting? How am I doing it the same? Because sometimes we feel like we are free to make decisions, but maybe not. Maybe we are actually doing it the same as ancestors generations before, because that was the way of surviving. And since they learned that that was the way, still the descendants might be doing it the same. So you ask yourself, maybe that could be my case, that I'm doing it the same as my ancestors, and I'm not really asking myself if this is serving me in my process of evolution, or is it limiting me? Yes? Okay, so let's go to the next step. The next step is called the wounds of the inner child. And this one becomes very interesting, because this one is got to do with all of those memories that we experience as children that somehow created this entrapment within that we haven't been able to transcend. Let's talk about the wounds. There are 5 main wounds, and some of them I'm sure your family system is carrying in a stronger way than another. So these 5 wounds are abandonment, betrayal, rejection, humiliation, and injustice. Which one resonates the most for you? Which one triggers you the most when it happens? So let's say that someone betrays you. Let's talk about betrayal. Betrayal involves many things, not only infidelity. Betrayal involves lying, cheating, or breaking promises, commitments that are broke, things like that. You expected something and you couldn't trust because it didn't happen. So is that what affects you the most? When something like that happens, what do you feel? Grace, how does that triggers you? And what emotions awaken in you? Because each of those has a sort of specific emotions that are there within you, in your soul, and you have been able to resolve because you cannot identify that those are the memories of you when you were a child and how they affect today your behaviors, as well as your emotions, and also the way you relate with others. Because you don't want to feel these sort of wounds again, you put on a mask. Yes, maybe you show yourself as a strong person, not to get betrayed, right? Or maybe you act in a way that if maybe the best way for me to protect myself, not to feel rejected, is to hide myself. So I pretend to be the shy one. Yes, but all of these are memories from your childhood that you might not be able to recognize consciously, but they are still there. These feelings are pulsing, and they are the ones who cause the triggers in your life. Yes, so this one is a step, and I would say the most important step of all. Finding and identifying those wounds, and what behaviors do I take when I feel triggered. Yes, and of course, transcending these emotions in order to do it differently, to respond different in life, to respond towards others, or to relate with others, to connect with life in another way. Yes? All right. So let's go to the last step. The last step is called the transactional analysis. The transactional analysis has to do with understanding that we do have 3 different psychological realities, and that we do transactions with others depending on how healthy these 3 different psychological realities are within you. One of those realities is actually the inner child. So if you haven't healed that inner child in you, means that you are still responding as a child in automatic when you feel triggered. Yes? So your transaction should be, I am acting as a child, but I don't see it like that. Yes, you think that is just the way you feel, but the one who is feeling these triggers is your inner child who hasn't healed those memories. Yes, so these 3 realities are the parent reality, the conscious adult, and the inner child. And if we don't recognize those 3 inner realities in ourselves, then we are doing transactions from your inner child with maybe a parent, which that is the relationship of a parent and a child, but not of a conscious adult. And the idea is that we get to acknowledge where we are, so we can actually have transactions from this level, the conscious adult, conscious to conscious adult. Yes, so the giving and receiving will be in order. So we will be more interacting from this conscious state of mind. Yes, so these are pretty much the 7 steps that we need to work on in order to create inner order. Inner order. When I get to create this inner order, then it'll be easier for me to relate with others and to connect with life and to manifest things, because I am being conscious of my inner reality that involves those memories of my childhood, those feelings, and also those memories of my ancestors that I need to resolve, so I don't have to be somehow bringing repetitive patterns that will be showing the same in my life as before, or my ancestors' life as before. Yes? So my next question is, can you see the relevance of creating systemic order for things to flow organically in your life? Can you see where the roots of these disorders are affecting you today and the importance of changing that? Yes, we should be the keepers of the order, the systemic order. And to recreate the order, we must, of course, heal these memories. And I found that family constellations was that tool that helped me transcend those memories. Yes, I want to talk a little bit about family constellations and how it can serve you. Yes. So we talk about, yes, maybe you have gone through or gone to many different therapies, and maybe they have helped you somehow, a little bit here, a little bit there, right? But in order to create a deep change, we need to change the feeling of it. Not only to understand what is happening, but to feel the new order. Feel. And how do you feel this new order? When you get to feel peace and comprehension. That is the conclusion. The only way for you to change these memories is when you reconcile them within you and you get to feel peace with them, meaning that you already got to integrate those memories and to liberate them with love, with gratitude, honoring, putting everybody in their place because everybody has their place in order, understanding your part, taking responsibility for your part, seeing that you accepted an agreement of somehow changing something in your system. That's why you got to experience things that you maybe didn't like as a child. And that maybe you don't remember, but that is a soul agreement that we all did, because today in history, all souls that are incarnated are in the work of reprogramming the past and those memories of our ancestors that are affecting us today, still as before. So the more we change and transcend these memories, the more we can help life evolve consciously. Yes? Otherwise, we will be still living the same. And so our part is to review and to observe your family system and to say, I can see where the disorders are. I can see which of those memories I'm carrying. I can see my emotions, the emotions that maybe grandma couldn't heal, and now I'm repeating the same. I can see the repetitive patterns of my system. And of course, to take action and to change that. And family constellations give you that opportunity. Why is that? Because you live an experience. That is the difference. You just don't understand. Like when you go to a therapist and the therapist tells you, what happens to you is that you are doing it, you are repeating the pattern just as your mother, right? And you leave the therapy and say, oh, I'm repeating just as my mother. Yes, that makes you understand. But what about the feelings that involve that? Those are still there. And when you get to the family constellation experience, you get to awaken those emotions again. Because you can see that your mother got to experience the same, and you can liberate that right there as an experience. You can say, Mom, these emotions are yours, not mine. I give them back. And as I liberate myself, I liberate you, and I liberate them all. These simple words that can create that inner state of peace, but they need to be done in order for your body to feel them and your emotions to feel at peace. And then that new change is going to be aligning with your mind. So you will be attracting new experiences in your life, experiences different than the ones before. You will be recreating your destiny, yes, by doing these experiences. This experience of family constellations is very deep and profound. That's what I have seen because I do therapy pretty much every day. And I've noticed that people usually live with that state of peace of mind and tranquility and deep comprehension. So just remember that we need to change or transcend the emotions and the emotions of our ancestors. And family constellations can help you with that. Also, the systemic work can help you plant the seeds, let's say, to recreate a new manifestation in your life. Because once you get to do this reconciliation, then of course you are set, you are reprogrammed for something different. So that's what I can say about family constellations as well. If you are a parent, let's say, maybe this could be the best inheritance that you can leave to your children. Yes, sometimes we are trying to give the best to our children. And I would say that your healing can be the best inheritance that you can leave to your children. Because once you get to liberate yourself, then you will be facilitating the path for the ones coming or for the ones that are already there. Yes. So knowing all of these benefits, would you embark on a journey to help heal, let's say, your family system and yourself? Because we all need to do this. I'm counting on people who can feel called to do this work, because this is a journey. And if you guys are here, I'm sure that somehow you are feeling this call. And so that's why I'm here sharing this information and what needs to be in order. So in 1 hour, of course, I won't be able to share everything I have, but I created this program that can help you, because it's a digital program that you can take at your own pace. And this actually is called Soul's Journey, a path for ancestral healing. And I used to teach this journey before live. And so, well, I'm teaching now other things, but I decided to bring this information again out to the world because it's basic, but it's so deep at the same time, and it can serve you well. So I created this 7-step journey, and I want to, if you allow me to, I want to share with you a little bit of that journey and see if it's something that can help you somehow or that it can resonate with you, and see if it can serve you in your process of ancestral healing. So Soul's Journey, a path for ancestral healing. The journey starts within. And that's what I usually say, because if we don't change it within, then it's not going to show outside of ourselves. So Soul's Journey is a 7 steps with 22 systemic experiences or exercises to identify and transcend the past and manifest a harmonious reality in your life. So I'm going to talk a little bit about this journey. So the first step of this journey, and I just want you to know that this is a digital journey, so you will be able to do it at your own rhythm. And there are 36 videos where I do talk a little bit about what is going on. So all the content, and at the same time, exercises for you to reconcile those memories. So the first step of this journey is called the systemic inclusion, to identify the dynamics of exclusion of your family system, to reconcile and resolve memories of the transgenerational that affect us today, such as slavery and colonization and many others, because you might think that these memories happened in the past, but they really are still affecting our present because they haven't been healed. Yes. Also, we do belonging and honoring the excluded ones. So we talk a little bit about the exclusions, for example, abortions or other relationships or criminals or people that we tend to reject, that we tend to exclude of the system. We need to create this sort of belonging with them. So belonging and honoring the excluded ones, giving order and integrating the relationships with the parents and other members of the system. So this first step includes 8 videos with content and exercises to create systemic inclusion and to liberate the family system and yourself from repetitive patterns that involve rejection and exclusion. The second step is a series of 4 videos of content on how to create systemic order. Also, we have a graphic that can help you recreate the order in the system. So you can identify the disorders of your family system, such as role exchange or triangulation between siblings and parents and children. So these videos have also exercises to recreate the order of hierarchy in the system, so it manifests order in your life. The third step is the law of equilibrium. And in this step, you get to acknowledge the order between giving and receiving and the law of compensation in life. We were talking a little bit about the law of compensation. Of course, I will talk deeper in these contents, and we are going to learn what mature love is, and we are going to be talking about death, abundance, prosperity, disease, and death from the systemic order, and why sometimes you carry disease, for example, or why someone in the system wanted to commit suicide, or why prosperity is not really flowing in your system. And all of it is connected to this law or principle of compensation or equilibrium. So there are 4 videos on this step of content and systemic exercises to create order of equilibrium and to liberate the unconscious agreements that create death, disease, and death in your life, as well as balance relationships. So the 4th step is called invisible loyalties. And in this step, what we do is that we are going to see the content and see if there are secrets that affect your family system that you might be experiencing today. So you will be able to identify what sort of exclusions or secrets somehow are showing in your system, such as abortions, abuse, betrayal, right? And there are 5 videos of content to identify these invisible loyalties and 4 systemic exercises to liberate the unconscious loyalty to the clan. The following step is the repetitive patterns. And this step has got content, 6 videos of content about repetitive patterns and systemic exercises to recognize and liberate the unconscious limitations that you are carrying from your past. So you will be recognizing all of these learned patterns and conditioning from the family system, and also those patterns of limiting beliefs related to money, sex, family, spirituality, and success. All right, so the next step is called the wounds of the inner child. And of course, I will be giving you information on each of these wounds: rejection, abandonment, betrayal, humiliation, and injustice. Actually, I have a bonus on this step of those 5 videos about each wound. And this will show you, or it will talk about each of them. How are the behaviors on each of them? How do you respond emotionally with each of them? And so you can start identifying, self-observation, identifying and recognizing your own wounds. Also, I will talk about how the memories are created and understanding the wound and the memories we carry that causes suffering and pain. We will talk about that inner child, because we need to recognize that we all have this inner child that is the one who creates this emotional conflict within ourselves. Also, we need to do the integration and the transcendence of these unresolved feelings and emotions that, of course, are the ones that affect our relationships and connection with life and with others. And the last step of this journey is called the transactional analysis. And in this one, you will be able to identify these 3 psychological realities that I was talking about: the child, the adult, and the parent. And of course, we will have 5 videos of content and 1 exercise to integrate these realities within and see how we are and how to learn how to do more effective transactions once you get to integrate these realities within you. All right, so pretty much that is the journey. The journey's intention is for liberating and transformational experiences that can help you redirect your GPS towards what you want to manifest in your life. So again, Soul's Journey include, I'm going to tell you all what includes is 7 steps to transcend, identify and recognize the dynamics of your family system, how we are connected to them and how that affects us. And those are divided in 36 videos and of course 22 systemic exercises or experiences to create systemic order throughout family constellations. And the steps, the videos have a value of 149 and the exercises 175. And also I have the bonus of the 5 videos about the wounds of the soul, abandonment, rejection, humiliation, betrayal, and injustice that shows us many of our unconscious behaviors and responses and how they affect our relationships that have a value of $107. Plus, of course, I'm going to give you an extra bonuses. And the extra bonuses that I'm going to give in this journey is you as a soul worker, you will be able to assist and participate on our online family group constellations. I do have whole sessions online, so you will be able to assist to the ones you decide to come. It's up to you. Usually I give you the times and the days when we do group sessions, and you will be able to say yes or no to come to participate. It's amazing because the experience of the other is helping you heal yours. Also, you will get my support throughout WhatsApp during this journey. And of course, that has a value of $200, but I will be also helping you. You can text me or you can send me a voice message, and then I'll be there guiding you or supporting you, giving you observations, also helping you with where you are throughout the whole journey. So that whole journey of the 7 steps, the 22 experiences, the bonus of the 5 videos, and the extra bonuses to participate in the Family Constellations group sessions and my support has a value of $671. Of course, today or tonight, we are launching our program. We are launching Soul's Journey in English. That's why I chose the Night of the Lights to do that. And so you won't be paying $671 today, but we decided to make a special offer for you. And instead of you paying $671, you will be paying only $199 for the 7 steps, the 22 experiences, the bonuses and the extra bonuses, only for $199. Now, I have more. There is more. So just wait. Because if you already decided to invest in your healing through Soul's Journey, we have a special offer today. And this special offer is, we're going to hold it for a few days because I know some people wanted to come and couldn't come. So we're going to hold this special offer for a few days. And so you can buy Soul's Journey from now until Sunday at midnight for only $149. So that would be at our last price. And we decided to do this because we are launching today. So we're going to give you a few days to take advantage of this offer, and I hope you do. So if we go over the whole offer, we have the 7 steps to recognize and transcend the unconscious dynamics of your system, and the 22 experiences to create systemic order, plus the bonuses of the 5 videos about the wounds of the soul, plus the extra bonuses to participate on our online Family Constellations group sessions, and my support, all the value of $671 for $149 tonight. So also, if you decide to do it or go for it, we have a super bonus here. And only for early birds that by today, before midnight, I will be making this extra session for the first 10 walkers. I'm talking about the walkers, the ones that are buying the Soul's Journey, who finish the whole journey, I will make a drawing between them so one can be constellated by me. So we will have a one-on-one session, and then that will be the value of this work is $222, and you will have it as part of this offer tonight. So if we see the whole offer is the 7 steps, the 22 experiences, the bonus, the extra bonuses, and the super bonus. Everything has a value of $893. And tonight you can get it for $149. I'm saying that sometimes we don't know because we say, I don't know what Maya's talking about. I don't know if that information, I don't know if I would understand. I don't know if the videos, I don't know if this or that. So of course, we're going to give you 21 days warranty to get your money back. If maybe you feel like that wasn't your fit, then of course I will give you, the refund of your entire investment. So to finish this, your freedom will be that of your ancestors and the future generations. Someone must liberate the system. Will it be you? That is the question. And so again, that is the whole offers, the 7 steps to recognize and transcend the dynamics of your family system, the 22 experiences to create systemic order, plus the bonus of the videos of the wounds of the soul, the extra bonus to participate on our online family constellation sessions, and the bonus of 1 extra session with to raffle and to get constellated with me, and the whole value of $893 for only $149 tonight. So if you want to go ahead, I'm going to leave in the chat the link for you to register. And I want to close this presentation saying the journey of 1,000 miles starts with 1 step. And of course, when you change it inside, it happens outside. And if you decide to take this journey, that would be your case. So I am going to leave here the link for you to, if you decide to go for it, I am going to leave the link here in the chat, and you can purchase through this chat. And we have the videos on, it's called Hotmart. And Hotmart holds all the videos, the 36 videos that we will be presenting. And I will be doing the support through WhatsApp. So if you get to see here the link, you can just click on it, and you will be able to purchase a soul's journey. And so I just wanted to say welcome. If you decide to, or you make up your mind already, I want to say thank you. Before we move on to Q&A, because I'm sure you have some questions, I want to say that just clarify certain things, like sometimes people don't know, but confuse family constellations with astrology, and family constellations are not astrology. The constellations, yes, sometimes sounds like astrology, but no, this is a therapy that is based on Bert Hellinger's work, and it's called just family constellations, but it's not astrology. So that's the one thing that I wanted to mention before we go to Q&A.
I guess if I have a question, like in terms of the exercises that you will be providing, can you explain a little bit more about the exercises?
Yes, that's a good question. So the exercises are like this. The systemic exercises go like this. Let's say now we are going to create, or we're going to honor the parents, right? So I will guide you through this process, and then I will give you some time to repeat after me. Because when you do repeat the words after me, you are internalizing them. It is different when you read them or you listen to them, but if you don't use your own words, then yourself won't read the information, and the information won't be internalized. So the more you say them, and the way I'm guiding you through that those exercises will allow you to give time for you to internalize the wording, to kind of see mom and dad in front of you, to recreate order, and to say, for example, let's say I say you're in front of your mother, and you would say, I see you, mother. So you will repeat, I see you, mother. So it will give you the time to be in the scene, because this will be a scene that you will be recreating, and you will be able to reconcile your soul and your heart with mom or dad or your siblings and many other things, because we have 22 exercises in there. And so it is important to have that pace. Yes, Janet, did I reply to your question?
Yes, and I also wanted to add, because I did have the pleasure and the honor of doing this whole program that she has now online, live with her. And it really is, it gives you you get the chance to have the experience with the magic of the words at the pace that is very, very accommodating to you. So like that you can totally feel it. So it's I think one of the biggest bonus that she actually puts in the program is, like, she gives a lot, but this is essential, because one of the things that you need with healing is just feeling it and then the words. So you will totally get that in this with this package. So it's very, very powerful. It will change you. It's very transformative. So I just wanted to add that to what you were saying.
Thank you, Janet. Yes, Janet, you took it when we used to do a live before. Those were the first teachings that I used to do years ago, and you actually took that journey when it first, I first was doing it during the pandemic, I believe it was that, right?
Right.
Janet?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. How
So
awesome.
it's a very powerful course. Very powerful.
Beautiful. Thank you for sharing, Janet. Rashmi, do you have any questions, any thoughts, any observations?
Yeah, like I just want to give an example. I have a question. I just want to give an example. Suppose you at some point of time had conflict with your brother or a sister,
Mm-hmm.
and that brother or a sister has a small child.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think such barriers can be healed
Yes.
between you and that child?
Yes. Yes,
Because
definitely.
that child is, see, you are an adult and your sibling is an adult, and
Mm-hmm.
you both had a conflict. Okay. And probably you can try to learn from it and move on. But
Mm-hmm.
that child, which is small, which cannot understand, it only has memories of the conflict, or it only has the memories or the feelings of the conflict.
Mm-hmm.
And and over a period of time, the child will forget also about that.
Yes. That's a very
But
good
that child will see a barrier between you and the child, and you will see a barrier between you and the child. Do you
question.
think such things can be healed?
Yes, these things can be healed, because actually you will be the one changing
Mm,
or reconciling the memory. And so
mhm,
when you feel this reconciliation, because the
mm,
reconciliation happens, is very sincere, right? If it's
mm,
not sincere, then it's not
mm,
going to be shown outside. It's not going to manifest outside. But if you get
mm,
to do this reconciliation within
mm,
you, with sincerity from your heart, this
mm,
child would see it, would sense it, because we are all, we can read each other's. We consciously don't see it, but the quantum of your change
mm,
will somehow create that inclusion, because there is an exclusion here. Let's
mm,
say that these two siblings, like let's say the sister and the brother, are in conflict, right?
mm,
Also, if we talk about this one, if this sister and this brother are in conflict, means that maybe the mother and her siblings were in conflict and they didn't resolve, or the father and the siblings were in conflict and they didn't resolve, they didn't resolve. That's why you, like this sister and this brother today, are having this conflict. Yes. So someone needs to reconcile the conflict from before in order for that to change. But when the change happens and the reconciliation happens, because there is a reconciliation that will happen there, happens truly from your heart, you change your perspective of how you see your brother and where that memory was coming from, because it was coming from the past. It's not because of you and him, let's say, or that sister and that brother, is because the parents didn't resolve and we are experiencing today the same as they did. And when you get to see that it wasn't about your sibling, but it was from the past and that you are repeating, you can say, okay, this conflict isn't ours. We are just repeating what wasn't resolved in the past from our ancestors. And you can liberate that, and you can include your brother or your sister, no matter what the conflict was, by saying, I include you and I honor you. I recognize you. You belong. And I can give back this conflict that belongs to the ancestors. And as I liberate myself, I liberate you. And the way you start seeing this sibling is going to be different because you are being inclusive. So this other sibling is going to feel the love from you, that you are not energetically sending this conflict every time you see him, or even if you don't see this person energetically, the conflict is there because it's being felt. You reject a part of him and he rejects a part of you, let's say. And if someone doesn't change that, the conflict is not going to change. So someone must change that, and that could be the one that is hearing this information and the importance of healing these conflicts and creating a different perspective about it. So your peace and your inclusion will actually change the dynamic. Maybe it won't be more conflicting after you see each other. Eventually, you won't have that sort of struggle. Maybe it will take some time for you to reconcile in the physical, right? But as long as you reconcile within, the change will happen. And the child is only, because this child is seeing this scene, right? So this child, by loyalty, is, let's say, being loyal to the parent. Yes, because my parent is my parent, you're not my parent. So energetically, I need to be loyal to them, even though I don't agree or whatever. So, but anyways, this child is already carrying the conflict. It's like, I cannot be fine with you, aunt, because of this that happened with my dad, let's say. And so the child is also in conflict because maybe the child wants it to be different, but it cannot because the conflict is from this generation and this new generation is already experiencing the conflict. So the reconciliation must happen here or before. We will have, if we do, let's say, a one-on-one session, we will have to go to the generation before you, meaning your parents, and see where the conflict started to find the root, the true root of the conflict.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, but it definitely will be felt, and definitely it will create a change. Your perspective will change what is happening. Definitely, I've seen it. Yes. Thank you, Rashmi, for your question.
Yeah.
I would recommend you in this case to do a one-on-one session, because that way we can really have that specific case. The program is more of a open for you to create order of the whole system, but this case is very specific. And when we enter into the morphogenetic field where those memories are, we will be able to see, identify the roots. By talking, it's just ideas. But when we get to be in it, then we get to really see more, see why that's happening, what is he feeling, or why is he feeling that way, yes? So that we will have to put in the actual experience of the constellation itself, yes. Yes. So guys, I guess that was it for tonight. I want to say thank you for all of you for being here, for being so present. It was an honor to serve you and to share this information. I hope it will serve you, and I hope it will serve you anyways. Whatever you choose to do, I'll be here, and I just want to say thank you again, and I hope to see you in the journey, and I hope to connect with you. You already have the information here if you decide to go by the program, and I hope to see you next time around. Have a good evening, night, or day. I don't know where you are, but wherever you are, thank you so much. Sending you love and hugs, and I'll see you next time around.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you. Thank you.